like to bring back to the beginning of the games and how it started many, many years ago. In 1964, a bunch of people in the St. Andrews Society had this wonderful idea. Let's have a picnic. And places were limited, so they chose Newton Park in Conifer. They had it, and they advertised with a mimeograph sheet, bring a hamper lunch and other goodies. And of course, this being a Scottish organization, other goodies referred to the alcoholic component, which I understand there was a lot around at there. They surprised themselves. They had about 175 people. So they decided they could continue this, and they continued these as picnics, family picnics, up through 1973. Now, they were Scots, so it took them a while to get around to it, but finally in 1971 they offered free beer. And when they did that, the attendance doubled. In 1974, they made a big jump. They decided they were going to take this public, and they enticed the School of Mines to host the games. The games were hosted at Brooks Field, which is their athletic field in Golden. They had a wonderful time. The marketing slogan for 1974, that first year at Golden, was "Dads can compete, moms can stand by and drink beer." And everybody had a wonderful time. All the traditional Scottish activities, the heavy events, caber tossing, stone throw, bale tossing, and so forth, and Highland dancing, and of course, bagpipes. We continued the games at Golden, the first one being August 17th, 1974. We named it a new name at the time. We called it the Rocky Mountain Highland Games. We kept that for many, many years. The games were held in the stadium. The admission fee was really affordable. It was $2. So you could get in at $2. And that first year, the games attracted about 2,500 people. So from 1974, they continued to 1988, to when we outgrew Brooks Field. And I mean outgrew it in many ways. First of all, our games were just prior to the football season, and we left the field in terrible shape. A 140-pound caber leaves quite a dent in the ground, and the poor football players did not like tripping in these holes. So in 1989, we made a shift to Highlands Ranch. Highlands Ranch was just beginning. We moved there, and we stayed there for the next 26 years. We used to do all the setup ourselves, all with volunteers. Everybody would show up on Friday night and set up all the tents, do all the cooking and everything else. But the games became too big. We started to attract audiences, weekend audiences of 8,000 or more people. We actually got as high as 14,000 people a few times. It was quite too much for a total volunteer organization, so we hired contractors to do the food preparation and selling, and to do the tent setup and so forth, which took a lot of pressure off the moms and pops. Nevertheless, the games were put on by an all-volunteer committee. Nobody in the game ever got paid for their labors. If we were lucky, we got our expenses reimbursed. Once a year, people would come out, spend Friday and Saturday coming up to speed, and by Sunday morning, we were as good as anybody in the nation at putting up and running a festival. And then we'd take a sabbatical for another year and do it again. We had internationally known judges. We had internationally known entertainment. We had people come to compete from all over the British Isles and Australia and other English-speaking countries. We had awards that were internationally known. Our Sword of the Rockies for Highland dancing and our Silver Chanter for bagpiping are still known and talked about. But rising costs finally started to creep up on us. The county wanted to increase the field rental beyond that which we could afford, and we were fighting so many different permitting processes and licensing and so forth. It became very, very difficult. We were about to pack up the games and wondering where we were going to go next when Snowmass popped up. Snowmass has the reputation of being the highest games in the United States, if not the world. For 3 years, we had a fairly successful, if oxygen-starved, environment for the games. But our goal is to be back in the Denver area once again. That's our home, and that's where most of our people are, and so we wanted to come back. At this point, though, I would like to introduce Susan, my wife, who's going to tell you a little bit about a very special committee member, Nessie.
The festival's most famous mascot In 2006, a group of creative people from the festivals, all volunteers, got together and built Nessie. Nessie was built out of chicken wire and paper mache, and she floated on a flatbed that was made to look like the Loch Ness. And understand that during the making of Nessie, quite a bit of single malt was consumed, which probably led to the appearance that she had. But anyway, we took her to festivals and parades all over, and she even had her own Facebook page. She was so popular that people called Douglas County before the festival and would ask, is Nessie going to be there? So she was rebuilt several times, but unfortunately, after a number of years being exposed to the weather, etc., she had to be retired, but she's still a fond memory for many of us.
The Games has a lot to be proud of. We're an all volunteer-run organization. The Games Committee is here for the foreseeable future, as are the Games. We moved back to Edgewater in 2017. The Games came back under Heather Miller as Games Marshal, did a fabulous job of relocating. So over the years, the St. Andrews Society has produced a world-class event. It's one to be proud of. So enjoy the weekend, even virtually, and everybody keep safe.